Einen wunderschönen guten Morgen und herzlich
Good
willkommen.
morning, everybody. Welcome to the ISH Digital 2021. I'm Lisa Papischitz, and on behalf of World Architects, I'd like to welcome you to our lectures in cooperation with the trade show of Frankfurt in the context of ISH Digital, and I'll accompany our moderators through this series of talks from Tuesday until Friday from 8 to 9. We'll have some talks that you can also find in the media library if you want to recheck something. Now, World Architects did guided tours at the physical ISH in the past, and this year we wanted to offer you an alternative to what used to be so successful. And we have a number of places here that we want to show you, and that we would have shown you in personally. And Sibylle Reinhardt will give you the link for the chat and just browse around. And I'd like to inform you that you will get further training points for your participation. After the talk, you will get an email address. You can turn to that to get your certificate. The Chamber of Architects in Hessen accepted this further training, and Rheinland Palatinate and Hesse too. And we'll have a chat afterwards to answer your questions in a short Q&A. And Alexander Brenner give you a live tour through his home, which is a research home. And if you find anything that you would like to see again, or where you would like to see more, if you like the camera to be pinpointed there, just write it in the chat. And I'd like to introduce Alexander Brenner. He studied architecture and urban planning, and at the age of 30, he started his own studio in Stuttgart, Alexander Brenner. And for 10 years, he worked at the university in the field of design and urban planning. And in his studio, works on projects concerning, or with the focus on villas and dream villas. And he works for art galleries too. He does a holistic planning of his projects, and he also creates unique components for his work. He works for many companies, and for many years, Alexander Brenner's work has been in high esteem, and he has published a lot. The Goethe Institute in Germany called him one of the most influential architects. I'm glad that he is in Stuttgart with us today, and we'll talk about his holistic planning. And in addition to examples from his projects, we'll see a tour through the Brenner Research Home. That's where he is talking to us. Alexander, good morning. Greetings to Stuttgart, and enjoy the talk.
Geht's los?
Okay, I think we can start now. Good morning, everybody. And many greetings to Lisa and everybody who's gotten up so early in the day. Now, today I'd like to talk about a special aspect of our work, namely about the things that we do and why we do them this way. This is a very special item that is very important to us. And now I should share the slides with you. Great, thank you. So as Lisa said before, for about 30 years, we have been working on single-family homes. And this is due to the fact that we have a certain attitude from very early. I felt allergic to instructions, and I always need a proprietor who shares our values, a building owner, a client who shares our values and supports them. So over 25 years, we mostly did single-family homes, as you can see here. And the basic idea is always the same. We try to build something that is there for the long term, that is robust and beautiful. And I'll show you a few examples so that you may get an impression. We always try to create a certain plasticity. This is a typical image. Often these homes have roofs on the outdoors areas so that you can go directly from the inside outside so that you don't have to put things away. You can just leave them under that roof. At the same time, this is the shade. We don't use much technology. We use technology solutions wherever necessary or where they make sense, but we don't buy everything or anything available on the market. We don't have any sunshades that work mechanically. We just work with these roofs, and this works very well. And it is our intention to do contemporary architecture, but we also want to build homes that are there for the long term. And we always check our materials, whether they are endurable, whether they even look better with age, and or whether there's something you have to exchange. So this was a burnt oak, or this entry door, this entrance door, maybe thicker, the material is thicker, and a lot, we'd rather do it once, and it stays forever. And there's this bench in the entrance area. It's very robust, and this will stay there for the next 100 years. You can put something on top or sit there, or whatever you like. And as far as the design is concerned, it's the same thing. We try to work for the long term. So these buildings, of course, originate in our age, but they're timeless, really. This is another example from the city of Essen. Look at the quality. This door is made of brass profiles, or this wall is a wall that can take the rain. You don't have to paint it ever. And you find these things on the outside and on the inside. All of these projects are done in a holistic way. We do the design on the inside. We also do the civil engineering, and it's just one holistic project. We also do the superstructure, construction engineering. So this is the entrance door from the inside. This is steel. And special steel, see the integration of technical elements like plugs and lighting. And normally these things are recessed. Everything that is visible, like the lamp on the right, this existed 30 years ago, and it will continue to exist in 30 years from now. So we don't do very loud or things which are in vogue right now, but we try to create an architecture that can stay, that is timeless, because we want something that endures. And all of us will have to rethink. I think we'll have to move away from this throwaway culture, because that wastes resources. And because of this, we should do things in a way that they can stay. And those houses that we have built so far, they never changed any kitchen or anything comparable. We like to do things the robust way, like these plugs in the kitchen. So the kitchen is made of concrete and massive wood. All of the furniture that we do is made of solid timber because it's there to stay. And we also look at the functions and the design, the gestalt. And this also goes for the products that we use. This is a bathroom of this house. And there are certain things, of course, which in terms of the design and the space and the quality, they can be used for a long time. The bathtub, this is made by the Better company. This is a stainless steel. And this is there for the long term. This is enamel, And this also goes for the vanity table, for the wash basin. And we check our products that we use, whether they can truly endure over a long period of time. And the same goes for the design. And we try to have a timeless design that makes sense. So I believe that in 50 years, people want to put the towels in a shelf as today. And because of this, all of the furniture is integrated. And the same goes for the technology. And on the inside and in the outdoors areas, we use a material which is concrete. You see this pavilion or the garden wall. In this case, since they see rain, that's different. This is irrigated, made of concrete, of exposed aggregate concrete, and this is permanent. This pavilion is made of exposed concrete, and this is supposed to age in dignity. We have continued to push concrete in the foreground over the years, and even on the inside, this is a home from Wiesbaden, and this wall hanging is not a wall hanging, it's concrete. And you need craftsmen who want to do this kind of thing and who are very committed to their craft and who want to make it happen. They use two types of grain. Two grain types to fill the concrete into this wall step by step, and that creates this pattern. It's like a wall hanging, and this absorbs a lot of the sound that's important in this hall, which extends over 3 stories. So this tapestry, this concrete tapestry, sucks up a lot of sound. And we have used pointed concrete too. This is the outer wall. This is very stable. This is a very stable wall, and worked on by a stone mason. And this creates this kind of niching, creates a certain or scabbling, gives it a certain aged appearance. Looks like ashlar, really. And over many years, we built these white houses. And after building all of these white houses, I had enough money for a holiday. I went south, and I saw houses and buildings that were even more in tune with the materials, the local materials. And there you have plaster. You find a plaster which can age in dignity over a long period of time. And this endurance is a key topic. There are buildings that have been around for centuries, really, and they can stay the way they are over the centuries. And because of this, we said we can do one better, and maybe we can create more of this endurance. This is the Brenner research house that we built 2016, consists of 50 centimeters of Yutong. This is porous concrete, aerated concrete. Then we have 25 centimeters of exposed concrete. So this is concrete that is nigged, and it keeps disappearing. This picture keeps disappearing. There's something wrong with the picture, apparently. And this concrete is worked on by this stonemason. This beige color comes from the local aggregate, which is limestone. People ask me whether it's colored or pigmented. No, by exposing the aggregate, the house gets this beige color, and this is a local limestone from the Swabian Alp. And here you have some impressions of this home. You can see the greater detail. This receives the normal formwork. It's concreted, and the edges are nigged, which is an old stonemason technique to make sure that these shapes stay. It's like working on ashlar, processing ashlar. In the past, there's the northwestern view, and this is a very expensive way of making a facade, but we don't need to do any adhesive bonding or sheet metal or silly, because all monolithic with help of this concrete skin.
And this is why we believe that this is an excellent way of building. Our current projects all use this building technique. And since the additive substances always use local raw materials, we are in line with the regional particularities. Here we have limestone from the Alp region, and we also use local aggregates from other regions in order to influence the hue of the concrete that we use to build. This is just to give you an impression of our building. It's situated right next to our office in the north of Stuttgart. It's one of a set of single-family homes. This is the typical way of building in Stuttgart. You are allowed to cover no more than 20% of your building site in order to ensure there is enough green space left. Here you can see the compact design. In the ground floor, you see living, dining, and the kitchen. And on the right, you can see that our house covers 5 stories. This is because it's placed on a sloping ground. So 3 of the stories are dug into the sloping ground, and toward the southeast, the building is opening up. Now, let me take you briefly on a tour of our building. And if we have the time, we are going to reverse our tour, starting from the top and moving downward floor by floor. And I'm going to show you a couple of details. This is the street level. Whatever materials we use is untreated. It is what it looks like. If it looks like steel, it's steel. If it looks like scaled steel, it's scaled steel. And if it looks like stone, it is certainly stone. We try to select all the materials following the criteria I mentioned, and we carefully judge and assess them with a view to their suitability. Our patio leads us to the entrance. This is a view of the garage. It's the only room where we applied paint to both the floor and the walls. And apart from that, our surfaces in the house are untreated with the exception of a few drops of oil. The cloakroom below the staircase has been covered with steel. The staircase is made of the same material as the facade. Here, the surface rough finish is a little more fine-grained. We have a lot of traditional techniques that have proven their worth since the time of the ancient Romans. Nowadays, they are no longer readily available in the market, but we don't worry about the market or the standard rules. Instead, we build for individual building owners only, so we find an agreement with the individual owner and we don't have to rely on DIN standards or technical application standards. Instead, we go by our own common sense, and it has proven to be successful. We don't have any arguments with our clients. We follow common sense and logic. This is the workshop level. It's the first level or floor above the street level. Above it, we have the bedroom level. Here you can see the stairs going up on the right, leading to the bedroom level. In many buildings, the bedrooms are at the top rather than at the bottom, but we said for thermal reasons, we want to keep the bedrooms closer to the ground. So the vista doesn't matter as much to us as does the natural cooling facility closer to the ground. And this is the bedroom level, as I said, the bedroom in the actual sense. So just like on the outside, we proceeded on the inside. Both the floor surfaces and the wall surfaces are very durable. And if we feel like we don't want to have a ventilation grid in the bedroom, we cover it so as to make it invisible, or else we decide to opt for window ventilation. In the background, we can see the bathroom. Our house is called the Research House. We gave it that name because it enabled us to try out things that other clients would probably not have supported, but we were very good friends with the client, so he allowed us to make some experiments. And this is what led to this bathroom zone. Nowadays, single bathtubs are quite common, but they are so exposed to the surrounding space. There is nothing to place objects on nearby. And while the water is warm, you feel like you're cold at the top. And now this is what we solved by creating this bathroom cell with its extra heat-preserving structure. And we have some room to place objects too, obviously. So our focus is on sustainable, durable materials. When it comes to taps and other fittings, we make sure that the manufacturer is willing to provide spare parts because we don't want to throw away the entire fitting complex just because of calcification of a valve. So we always follow the idea of sustainability, and this holds true for features too. Look at this mirrored cabinet. It has proven useful and it will be useful in the future. We have applied integrated lighting, and these are the things that we really enjoy designing. This picture was taken when sitting in the bathtub. This is the durability test for our enamel-covered bathtub, and this very well illustrates the high quality of being in this particular bathroom. You feel like you are kept in a cozy shell, and this is quite the opposite to being exposed to the open air. And this is actually what we apply throughout the building. This is the next story, and we have tried to do experimental things here as well. This heating facility is not in line with DIN standards. I actually did without impact or footfall insulation, and this is why the floor heating was applied on a softwood fiber board, 15 millimeters in thickness, that allowed for bolt-on fixing. And apart from that, there is no footfall or thermal insulation, which leads to a situation where the house as such is thermally agreeable. We live in a thermal shell. The suspended ceiling is there, no component activation, but we feel that our ceiling heats the home as a whole. We start at very low temperatures, 2 degrees above indoor temperature, and the same thing holds true for the walls, for the bench that you can see here. It is a surface heating which leads to a very agreeable indoor climate. We see a variety of functions that this home can fulfill. You can see the outdoor place out on the left, and we have kind of recesses and alcoves for us to just retreat and stay around in peace and quiet. I typically light the fire when I start cooking, and this is why we have it all in one room, so we have no strict repartition between cooking, dining, and living. Instead, it is one large contingent zone, and if we have visitors, they typically stay seated at our table, so it all takes place in this main area of living. The kitchen, too, just like many other pieces of furniture in this building, are made of concrete, so the light surfaces are concrete, obviously, and the rest is crafts like manufacturing. You see the wall coverings hiding away technical facilities. In this particular case, as you may have seen in our floor plan, there is an elevator shaft. You can see it on the very right. I didn't install it. I didn't install the elevator. We use it as a storeroom, and it has a wooden floor. But within a short period of time, we could convert it so as to house an elevator. You never can tell when you'll need an elevator one day. After all, it's a 5-floor building, and we thought ahead. The kitchen is covered with copper, which is a very durable, solid material. The wall covering is made of linoleum. The floor is made of oak wood. And here again, we see variations of the same theme. I looked out for a stainless steel worktop surface that is structured so it doesn't look overly sober, and sinks have been welded in for durability and long life, and the same thing is true for the fittings, for the faucets, for all the products that we use and that really correspond to our standards and live up to them. We see an external kitchen in addition to the inside kitchen. My exhaust system has been planned, but we actually did not execute it. Typically, the food that we prepare smells real nice, and if I have something real smelly to prepare, to roast or grill, I will turn to the outside, to the external kitchen. And here again, we continue in the same fashion. We have another storeroom that hides away all kinds of stuff. Behind the cladding. Here you will find either a pantry or technical facilities that enable users of the building to stow away the things that they don't need all the time and that they don't want to be seen. And if we now move another stair up, we end up in the top floor. This is the floor where I am sitting now. It is a multi-purpose room for working, living, and resting. And we see the rooftop terrace with its beautiful vista of Stuttgart. And now we see the counterpart provided by the desk I'm just sitting at and the bookshelves in the background. So this is where I stay around most of the time at the top floor level.
So this desk is made of concrete. On my right, there's a surface that's made of concrete. And now here we have something that can be moved to the outside. So you don't need furniture on the outside because you can simply push big furniture on the outside because of the sliding door. Now the outside, the outdoors area is under roof, so you can leave the upholstery outside and you have this kind of open transition from the inside to the outside. So this is just the same kind of space. So here you can see how the furniture has been moved out, and there's a terrace. And with this picture, I would like to say goodbye to this house and show you the neighborhood. The neighborhood is also a research home. You can see this apartment building. This is something that we don't do very often, this kind of apartment building, but this reflects our thinking. It was not made for a developer, but this is for clients. They want to stay there, so there is no underground parking lot, but individual parking, and this is made in a quality that used to be normal in the past, but in recent times people have forgotten about this type of quality because there's a certain quality that we see here, and a certain quality is not. There's no demand for a certain quality depending on the structure, or the building structure. Here we're able to work the same quality as with the single-family homes. The walls are 50 centimeters thick, and all of the parapets are made of concrete. And when you look at it from the street side, that was the entry. On the back, we have the same integration to the hill. We have staircases here. All of the other rooms point to the valley side, and the sleeping quarters are in the back towards the south and southeast. And this is the whole building, 3 stories. We have and very roomy apartments, and there's a large entrance area. Here we have a few details, and again, all of the furniture, including the mailboxes, we make ourselves. There's a unit where you can leave packages, and there's the entrance door. And when you open the door, on the inside, you see an entrance hall with 50 square meters. For many developers, that would be impossible. And they would say, "Why don't you rent this out?" We say, "Well, this reflects the quality of the home. People live here. This is where you can hang around, where you can hang out, meet people, and it's important to have such a space. It's just as important as the quality of the building itself. There are certain demands concerning space and air. And this is an entrance area. And you may have the impression that I'm overly critical compared to as far as technology is concerned, but we have ventilation. This is technology. After all, it's integrated. And here we have an outlet for the air conditioning, for the refrigeration. We looked at the 1A outlet, and we saw that it looks better from the back than from the front because there is a lid on it. And so we installed it the other way around, and we enjoy these things. So you can reset it from the inside. On the outside, you don't have the optical appearance of a classical outlet. And once again, here we find elements that you are familiar with already. The furniture, for instance, and things are installed like the kitchen in the middle. And on the left, we have a wall lining which doubles as a cupboard. And then there's the door, and the control technology is integrated, and the kitchen is built in such a way that it should stay. We are very committed. We have been very committed. The material is copper. What looks like copper is copper, and what looks like wood is wood. And this is a more detailed view. Everything has been done in such a way that it can age in a dignified way. And finally, the bathroom. Again, we find the same criteria at play. As far as the surfaces and the materials are concerned, they are made to endure. And there is a recess with a brass plate on top. And if we like the products on the market, or if we don't like the products that the market offers, like things made of plastic, then we try to do it ourselves and design things in such a way. So with this image in the bathroom, maybe you can say something about the sanitary area. Can you tell us what you found most important? You believe that the surfaces are very important, the material of your bathtub, and so on. Why exactly is that so relevant? Are there certain manufacturers you like to work with? Yes. As I said, everything we do, we try to do for the long term. And this means that the materials, both in their design and in terms of their technical function, they have to endure. In my first home, I used room light switches, and the client said, "You don't mean this, do you? They have been around for the past 30 years. And I was serious. I said, well, they will still be around 30 years from now. We still use these switches today. Because of this, my idea was that the products should be so durable that you'd never have to throw them away. And this is the central idea everywhere. Am I still broadcasting with my iPhone? No, we can just see you. Let's leave it at that, because I could also show you something up here. The sound, can you switch to the iPhone? Yes, now we can see the view of the iPhone. Over here, for instance, this is a toilet. It's not the big bathroom, but here I find the things that I mentioned. This is email. And we said we built this installed furniture because you will keep it there. This is all installed in such a way that it can stay here. And because of this, these products must fit in. they must fit our purpose, otherwise it wouldn't make sense. Well, there are two questions. Simone Lawrence says whether you don't have to stick to DIN rules. Why can you make an exception? Well, I think we are the only ones, but this has to do with the fact that we only build for private owners, for private clients, and then I can say, okay, I can ask this person whether he wants to stick to the DIN or other processes, or whether we should use common sense. We build without plastic. Because of this, we don't do things the way they're done. We don't do full heat protection. We build solid houses, solid walls. We get great energy-saving values, and we don't work in the way that, we create trash. We want the houses to stay in the long run, and we don't want to create hazardous waste when building houses. And these homes are used by private clients. And we can ask them, would you want to live in a plastic bag or in a healthy, solidly built house? Yes, great. And Wolfgang Buhle says, congratulations on your holistic architecture. Do you have any examples of your work in the Rhine-Main area? Well, in Kronberg, yes. In Wiesbaden, there are quite a few. And if you're interested, our homepage shows you some examples. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to walk through my home. I wasn't able to tour my home completely. There's a video about this home, and there you can see this experimental home in greater detail. Well, I would have liked to do the tour live, but it wasn't possible for technical reasons. So our time's up. I'd like to invite you to join us tomorrow morning at 8, and we'll continue with the Studio Lewis in Düsseldorf, bathrooms in building culture, and you can get the link for the certificate in the chat. Please, with your name, the membership number, and the chamber. And thank you, Alexander, for this talk and for the personal view of your home. And I wish you all a nice digital trade show, and have a nice day. Thank you.